sitting by the road, looking for a ride home. It was milepost 12, and I was all alone. Sun beating down on the back of my neck. Oh Lord, let me find a peaceful place to rest. I was too far from home, I gotta get back to Oregon. Too far to roam, trying to get back to Oregon.
Yeah, morning of day 10. I was the first one awake, so I figured I'm just going to start on filming for the day. We are still at Bush Lake, preparing for the events of the day. There's still a lot of people up here. We had a pretty cool time last night. We got to interact with some of the other campers around here. It's the first time in about 10 days now that we've had fresh faces to talk to, apart from our backpacker friend Dusty. Yeah. We had kind of a damp morning. It's really dewy up here. A lot of greenery. We're out of the desert again. We're back in the mountains on the other side of the rain shield. So things are a little bit wetter, which is nice and not nice. It was a little bit chilly to wake up to like that. I woke up in a blueberry patch. And apparently I set myself up right in the middle, so I woke up and rolled to my side, and boom, blueberry bushes right there. Which is kind of a pleasant, surprising morning. It's a weird process that it's day 10 right now. We're getting pretty dang close to the end here. Trip kind of feels like it just started, but it feels like we've been out here for ages at the same time. Expeditions are always kind of weird like that. Time passes differently on them. I like having pockets. Kind of makes me feel like I'm a 10-year-old, but they're nifty.
We found a spot by the lake, and we're joined by a couple more folks as we waited for the eclipse to start.
There's a couple from Ukraine here.
Really? On purpose or on coincidence?
No, on purpose.
Okay.
There's a couple of guys from Sweden, who are pilots that we've been talking to for a while.
Yeah. I'm Deborah and this is David.
Our trip's kind of been dictated by the fires.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
We're at the eclipse. Where are you? You're a little bit silhouetted because the sun's right behind you. It's okay. But the point's getting across.
Wow, I could actually look at the sun just for a second.
It took about an hour for the sun to actually be completely covered.
Definitely getting darker now.
Whoa. Yeah. Man. You see the shadow on the landscape.
Yeah.
Before the darkness hits you, it's dark out there.
Yeah.
You can see the darkness coming at you.
Yeah.
Goosebumps thinking about it. So a lot of people hiked up to this place called Rudd Butte or something. 2 miles up the PCT and then a few hundred yards up there. They can look to the Willamette Valley and they will see the shadow.
See that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Bill Arias, he's the only person to fly a balloon on every single continent, including Antarctica.
Wow.
He invited me to fly to Russia with him back 30 years ago. So he flew from Alaska over to Russia, Mongolia, and was immediately arrested. I could have gone on that one. Decided not to. What was it Shakespeare said? Discretion is the better part of valor?
Yeah.
I might still be in a Mongolian jail somewhere. But they released him and he became locally famous. In fact, he's world famous and locally unknown. He lives outside of Redmond on the river. Right there. Amazing. Okay, it's getting dark. Oh.
A solar eclipse is when the moon perfectly aligns between the Earth and the sun, blocking out all but a thin halo of light. Complete totality only lasted for about 3.5 minutes, but it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Well, that was that. I have to wait. I have to wait another 59 years. I don't think I'm gonna be there.
Really digging this van.
Oh yeah, this one?
That is a cool van. We realized that the key for our skybox right up there at some point broke off the keychain it was attached to. We are trying to figure out when exactly that was and try to trace it down. Of course, it is the only key that we don't have copies of, so we've been just tracing back every little movement that we've made, trying to think of where it could have gone. If we don't find it, we're going to have to get kind of tricky with how we get into this. Might have to learn how to pick a lock today. We do have a lot of gear in there, so it'll be interesting.
So Jeff, what happened with the key?
The key was hiding out about 20 feet away from us in a dirt parking lot. No idea how it wound up in that spot. You know, I'm running through our mental map of okay, transfer point here, unlock this door, all that. Somehow, I don't know, man. I just don't want to think about this anymore. That was way too much stressful thinking for this early in the morning on day 10, and so I'm just not going to talk about it anymore. That didn't happen. So instead, we're going to say our solemn farewells to Dusty here.
Yeah, just finishing unpacking.
Really sad to see him go, even though it's only been a couple of days. He's felt like he's been part of this journey with us the whole time already.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's been a great time. 3 days, what is it, 3 days now?
3 days.
3 days? 3 days flew by.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I'll...
see some cool stuff together though.
Yeah. Alright.
Safe trails, man.
Thank you.
Have fun out there.
We'll do it. Peace. Let's do it.
Give me that bump.
Bye, Dusty. Bye. And then there were 3. We're hopping back onto the same road that we took up here. This really kind of terrain-filled, sketchy one, but so we're gonna hop back on that road, and we're gonna go along until we intersect with another road that is a former section of the Oregon Trail.
Holding my toilet paper.
That's the smart stuff to bring.
Good luck, guys.
We continued on our way to Olali Lake, under the shadow of Mount Jefferson, a 10,000-foot volcanic mountain.
We just drove down some good road, some good technical forest road from our campsite last night at Bright Bush Lake. We got there a couple hours ago now. Been driving for a while.
As soon as we emerged onto the main highway, we were amazed to see the endless river of cars heading west after the eclipse.
So here we are on Barlow Road, section of the old Oregon Trail of video game fame. Sign's talking about a cabin that used to be here. Builders of the Barlow Road built it as a cache point to stow away supplies during an exceptionally bad snowfall year, and then just kind of became a good landmark spot for future travelers along the road. Nowadays, the actual location of the cabin is not known. It was torn out, and nobody really knows exactly where it was, but we do have some journal entries of people being like, oh yeah, it was just like, a little past, or like, a mile or two past this river, or, just a little bit before we passed this point, or whatever. So we kind of roughly estimate that it was here-ish, but nobody knows for sure.
The Barlow Road was built in 1846 and served as the last overland segment of the Oregon Trail. Its construction allowed covered wagons to cross the Cascade Range and reach the Willamette Valley, which had previously been nearly impossible. Even so, it was by far the most harrowing 100 miles of the nearly 2,000-mile Oregon Trail. We camped for the evening on the shores of the White River.
We're on the White River right now. It's kind of a cool river here in Oregon because it flows off of Mount Hood, so it sends down all this like glacial tilt essentially. And that's why it's got kind of a milky, cloudy texture to it, color to it. It'll change color based on what the temperature is. So if it's hotter up on Mount Hood, more of the glacial stuff will melt. The glacier ice will melt. It'll send down more of this kind of white, powdery glacial tilt, and it'll make the river look like coffee creamer. So it's obviously not too hot on Mount Hood currently because the river is not that white. It's just kind of cloudy. I thought today went well. We woke up and prepared for the eclipse. Weren't really sure what to expect with that, but it was a pretty spectacular experience. We're camped on the White River tonight near the Barlow Road, which is an old part of the Oregon Trail, kind of one of the last sections before the Oregon Trail crossed the Cascade Mountains. Nice, quiet again, nobody around, next to a river, cool. Starting to feel like fall a little bit, which is nice. It's getting towards the end of August. And tomorrow is our last full day, day 11. Day 12 is going to be kind of a half day. Get up to Bridge of the Gods, but tomorrow we're going to circumnavigate around Mount Hood. And yeah, the trip's flown by. It's gone really quick. Kind of crazy.